coming out now, I have to wonder, and what do you think of this? Is there something inside this man that's been triggered? Is that why he came out?
And I often think of the time release capsule phenomenon that I have felt with people in the human abduction syndrome, in which they have said, over the last 20 years, in my lifetime, X will occur. And now I am hearing from abductees that I have known over these 20 years, and they are all saying something along the lines of John Spaulding, that the secret cannot be kept any longer, that this has to be open. Now, who is speaking? Is it the humans on their own, or is it because the humans have been implanted by the phenomenon with information that here we are at the end of 2008, headed into 2009, that there is something about right now, as John Spaulding feels, is critical, and further, he raises this, I think, very disturbing question in my own mind. If something like idiopathic fibrosis that causes this breathing problem is linked from the standpoint of some medical point of view to exposure to radioactivity, how many cases of this terrible breathing disease on the planet might be linked to the phenomenon? And I did some Google search and find that there was a paper as recently as 2002 by medical people looking specifically at that issue of exposure to radioactivity. But Whitley, I'm going to throw this back to you with this question. Why would there be occasions when there might be radioactivity in the presence of something that might be non-human as a craft, when there are apparently so many other cases where there does not seem to be any radioactive exposure?
Well, you know, Linda, what can I tell you? I have the answer. I'm joking, sadly enough. I don't know. I just don't know. And that gets back to the fact that there is so much evidence on the ground that we really don't need to be told anything. We don't need disclosure. We need acknowledgement. If the federal government would simply say to the National Science Foundation, encourage scientific research into this area of phenomena, that'd be all we need. We don't have to listen to whatever kind of stuff may have come out of the intelligence community. Goodness knows. We know from the report from the Brits that in as late as 1956 we were shooting at them routinely. We know that they sent up armed jets over Stevensville just a few months ago.
Right.
So how good could their information be? I mean, how good was our information about what was going on in any country that we regard as an enemy? I mean, I don't think that the information that is in the possession of the intelligence community is necessarily going to be very valuable.
Right. And do you have any sense from other people that you know in the abduction syndrome that right now in November of 2008, is there an agitation, a nervousness about something ready to break?
Oh, yeah, but there always is. I'd say yes 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. There's always the sense of incipience in the in the field. It's always there. There's always the sense of something about to happen. This time, however, there are enough things going on. We have a new president. We have in John Podesta, a man who is actively interested in the phenomenon and in disclosure, and he's involved in the new administration. We have great economic change taking place. We have extraordinary changes taking place in the environment. We are at the edge of the cliff, and there's no place to go. And I've always understood that when we were really up against it, and we really didn't have any other place to turn, would be when we would finally turn to this. Mm-hmm. And there is left in the bodies and minds of the close encounter witnesses, in the skies, in the materials that have been found and can be found connected with this, an entire, clear, and incredibly useful picture that we have only to bring into focus. Linda Moulton Howe, thank you very much for a very provocative report. And folks, never miss a week of Dreamland. You're missing too much if you miss us. We'll see you again next week.
This has been Whitley Strieber's Dreamland. We'll be back next week with another journey to the extreme edge. Don't miss a single week, and tell your friends about our unique program. Our Dreamland crew is Evan Ross on sound, Dana Augustine on program art, Daniel Stegall, webmaster, and I'm your Dreamland announcer, Brian Arnold. Thank you very much for listening.